Okay, let's start with our discussion on diode rectifiers. First category of diode rectifiers is called as half wave diode rectifiers, right? So we'll start with our discussion on half wave rectifiers. Before going ahead, let me quickly share it with you that it would be really nice if you guys can just revise some of the topics, which is total harmonic distortion, power factor, especially in case of harmonic distortion. What is the definition of power factor, how you calculate it, Fourier series, right? RMS values, etc. Right? Just revise these basic concepts because they are very useful when we talk about AC circuits. Now we are trying to move towards AC circuits, whether we talk about rectifiers or inverters, and these are very helpful in defining the parameters of or the quality of the AC voltage and so on. So coming back to the diode rectifiers and the half wave rectifiers. So if you see, what do you mean by half wave rectifiers? The basic philosophy is that if you have a voltage signal, the AC signal has two parts, right? One is the positive part, other one is the negative part. Is up to pi. So half wave essentially capitalizes or utilizes one part, and therefore you sort of tend to call it half wave, right? It does not really utilize the input side of the second half for its benefit. It might still conduct in the second half, but the second half is not very effective in terms of transferring power from the AC side to the DC side. So that is the reason they are called as half wave. The other thing, it's also known as a single pulse circuit. Why is it called single pulse? Because if you observe the output voltages, right, the output voltages would usually have something like one pulse per 20 millisecond, if you or rather 1 upon 50 hertz if your frequency is 50 hertz, or 1 upon 60 hertz if your frequency is 60 hertz, right? So in this time period you have one pulse, right? So therefore they are called a single pulse. If you have two pulses in this, then you would call it as two pulse. If you have six, you will call it as six pulse, and so on. So the half wave rectifiers are also known as single pulse rectifier circuits. Let's try to now start drawing some circuits and see how the rectifier operation does work. Let's start with the most basic one, which is a D and a L, which implies there's a diode and there's an inductor. So this is your source, your input voltage, diode, and an inductor. Right, so you have inductor current, which is same as diode current, which is same as source current, because all of them are connected in series, and this is your output voltage VO which comes across the inductor. Now if I have to draw the waveforms for qualitative analysis of this circuit, let's start with drawing the input voltage. Okay, this is your input voltage waveforms. I've taken a sinusoid. You can consider a cosine also. Or this is pi, this is 2 pi, right? Now what happens, and let's say this is the peak value, which is root 2 times the RMS value. Assuming it's a sinusoid, it's a pure sinusoid. So what happens is now at t equal to 0, let's assume the initial condition at t equal to 0, your inductor current is 0, right? So your inductor current is 0 at t equal to 0. Now what happens is, now at t equal to 0 plus, if you see at t equal to 0 plus, your input voltage has become more and your output voltage current is still sort of zero. So therefore, if you write KVL equation, the voltage drop across the inductor is almost still, let's say, negligible, and the input voltage has become positive. So that implies the diode anode will become positive with respect to its cathode. That implies that diode will start conducting. So at t equal to 0 plus, the diode starts conducting if it is an ideal diode, because ideal diode requires a negligibly small positive voltage even to start conducting. So as soon as we go at t equal to 0 plus, slightly ahead of t equal to 0, the diodes start conducting. And now what is the equation which relates the input and the output? In this case, if you see, once the diode starts conducting, you can write the Kirchhoff's voltage law starting from ground. So 0 plus Vin minus L dIL by dt is equal to 0. Right? I can rewrite this as L dIL by dt is equal to Vin. Now since Vin is positive in the first half from 0 to pi, if you see, Vin is positive, therefore Vin is positive, therefore di by dt is also positive, and therefore current would be rising. Di by dt is positive means current is rising. Change in current with respect to time is positive. So the current would start from 0 and then it would continue to rise till pi. At pi, what happens is the input voltage is 0 and therefore the slope is also 0, and therefore if you see the slope I have shown here, the tangent is horizontal. That means slope is 0 at t equal to pi or at theta equal to pi. Now what happens after that? Once you move further, then now what happens is after immediately after this instant, if you see, or at this instant if you see, at t equal to pi, your inductor current at pi is a positive value. So current cannot suddenly stop flowing, right? So diode must conduct. Diode cannot suddenly stop at this instant. Although the input voltage has gone negative, right? The input voltage has gone negative, Vin has become negative, but then the diode will conduct, and now if you see, the current would still flow through the diode. The same KVL equation would hold good, but now the Vin will become negative, and therefore dIL by dt will also become negative, and therefore current will start falling. And the current would continue to fall and it will come back to 0 at t equal to 2 pi. Current will continue to fall and come back to 0 at t equal to 2 pi. Right? And after t equal to 2 pi, again this cycle start, again the current builds up and so on. So this is how the steady state operation of this circuit looks like. This is IL, which is also equal to IN. One question you may have is why I am saying that if current starts from 0, it also again ends up at 2 pi. Why current does not end up before 2 pi or after 2 pi, right? Why current always comes back to 0 at 2 pi in this case, in case of a DL circuit. So the reason is, if you look at this equation is L dIL by dt is equal to Vin. Right, so you can just rearrange. You can say dIL integral is equal to integral Vin into dt. Right, so if I want to find the point at which current should become equal to 0, right? So let's say I start with 0, initial current is 0 at t equal at rather t, or I can always substitute t in terms of theta, right? So theta is equal to omega t, so I can always write d theta is equal to omega times dt. So whether in terms of t or theta, so let me just replace t with theta first to make it a little bit simpler. So left side is I integral IDL is equal to integral Vin d theta by omega and at IL initially at t equal to 0, theta is also equal to 0 and current is 0, right? Now I want to locate a point theta. Let's say it's not 2 pi, let's say it is theta, some theta. At that theta again my inductor current should come out to be 0. So I want a condition, I want a value of theta using this equation. So if I further expand this equation, you can see that left side is 0, right side is integral of v in d theta, right, going from 0 to theta. So what does this imply? This implies that the area under the curve v in, where the x-axis is theta, should integrate this. So integral means the area, so the total of the area should be equal to 0. That would tell me the point theta, right? So if I start from 0 and I keep on integrating the area under the curve v in, right, a point at which I get the average area or the total area to be 0, that is the point theta. So coming back to this original waveform, now if you see, if you start from 0, right, first your integral becomes positive, right, your area under this curve, it becomes positive, 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 positive. So it's, if you see at pi, it is still a very large value and a positive value, it's not 0. Then it slowly starts reducing, and assuming that your input voltage is symmetric, that means your positive cycle and the negative cycle is perfectly same, then the average, right, the area under the positive cycle will be equal to the area under the negative cycle, and therefore only at theta equal to 2 pi will both areas cancel each other out perfectly and give us 0 of total area under the curve. And that is the reason the current would stop conducting, or the current will come back to 0 only at theta equal to 2 pi and not before that. The situation would change if we consider some other components along with D and L that we would see just in a couple of minutes. Their situation would be a little bit different. Now before moving ahead in this basic circuit, we can also now, if we have done that, we can also draw the output voltage waveform. Right, so how would the output voltage waveform look like? Since diode is conducting for the full duration 0 to 2 pi, so the input voltage is same as output voltage, so the output voltage is nothing different, but it is equal to the input voltage waveform. And if you see, in principle, now you are not necessarily getting a rectified DC voltage at the output, right? You are still getting an AC voltage at the output. Although the current that you are getting in the output, which is the inductor current, that inductor current has a DC component. So what is inductor current? Inductor current is actually a DC component. It also has oscillations of the input voltage. So if you see, it's a single pulse circuit, so there is a single pulse oscillation. That means it also has a, if you do a Fourier for FFT of the inductor current, right, Fourier series expansion, then you would realize that it has a DC component, it has an average value, plus it also has a, let's say if the source is 50 Hertz, it also has a 50 Hertz component in it, right? So it is a 50, it's a DC value and it is also having a 50 Hertz component. So you can in a way say that this is still acting as a rectifier circuit because your output current is DC and not AC. But then the output voltage is still perfectly AC. The average value of the output voltage is 0. But the average value of output current is not 0, right? So you get a DC output current. Let's define some parameters. Let's say the instant when the conduction of the diode starts, let me call it as alpha. The instant when the conduction of the diode stops, let me call it as beta. And the duration for which the diode conducts, let's call it as gamma, which is beta minus alpha. In this case, gamma value is equal to beta, which is equal to 2 pi, and alpha value is equal to 0. Right? This is one of the simplest rectifier circuit. Now let's see what happens, because if you see, practically having a pure inductor is not possible, right? Anytime you want to make an inductor, you would use some wires, right? And you would have a core, so there would be losses in the core, and the wire will have a resistance and so on, right? So it's always you get a resistance in series with inductor in real life. So therefore, let's focus on our next circuit, which is a DLR kind of circuit, which has an input source, which has an diode rectifier, D, single diode, and now it has a R and it has an L, right? And now in this case, again I can draw the waveforms. So let me start with considering the input voltage waveform, right, which looks something like this. I can write this current as ID. Let's say now I want to call it ID, which is the same as output current, and this is my output voltage, which is appearing across the combination of L and R. So I can write the Kirchhoff's voltage law starting from ground, 0 plus V in. Again, same theory. If you see at t equal to 0, if I consider the initial condition at t equal to 0, my IL is 0, then at t equal to 0 plus, my input voltage would be a little bit more, and that would force the diode to turn on because its anode voltage would be higher than its cathode potential, and the circuit would turn on. So at t equal to 0 plus, this KVL equation would be valid, which is 0 plus V in minus ID into R minus L dID by dt is equal to 0, right? I can rearrange this thing. Let's write it as ID into R. Let's take L dID by dt on the right side. Now if you see at t equal to 0 plus, your input voltage is rising, your current is still very small value, right? So overall this term becomes positive, and therefore the derivative becomes positive, and therefore the current starts increasing. So if I start drawing ID, which is same as IL and same as input current, it will start from 0 and it will start rising. Now let's mark a few key points, right, at pi by 2 and at pi, and let's see what happens at these key points. Now your current is increasing, right? If you would have had a pure inductor, right, no resistance term, in that case your derivative would be positive till V in is positive. So V in is positive till pi. So as in the previous case, your current would have continued to rise till pi. But here what happens is, as your V in is increasing, your current is also increasing, and especially after pi by 2, if you see, your V in is now reducing, your current is still increasing. So at one point these two terms, V in and I into R, becomes equal, right? What is that instant? That instant would depend on the value of R, right? But at one instant that happens, and that instant is between pi by 2 and pi, right? So at the instant when this happens, so instead of this waveform continuing, it sort of, the waveform gets, the slope becomes 0 even before you reach pi value of pi, right? Because the instant where the current is growing, right, V in is this, current is growing, I into R is growing, so at one instant, and now V in is falling, so at one instant both the values magnitude matches, right? And that is the instant where you hit the peak value of the current, and after that the current starts reducing. Now when the current starts reducing, then it would start falling, right? It need not necessarily fall to 0 before or after this, right? It would depend on the value of resistance, and then it might it would still conduct till this point, so it would fall and then it will come back to 0 somewhere between the value pi and 2 pi, depending on the value of resistance, right? If you consider only R, then what happens to the current? Obviously, if you consider only R, there is no inductor, then the current will start. It will follow the same wave shape as that of the input voltage. It will hit the peak here, right? And then it will come back to zero. So this is what happens when you have pure R. If you have only L, then the waveform looks something like this. So if you have both R and L, you land up somewhere in between these 2 points of stop conduction, and similarly the peak value lies in between pi by 2 and pi, right? So now with this waveform of current, which is for the scenario where you have both R as well as L. Yeah, for this scenario where you have both R as well as L, you can see what is alpha, this is alpha, what is beta, this point is beta, and gamma is the difference between beta and alpha. How will the output voltage look like here? So till the current is non-zero, that means current is flowing in this circuit. That means the input voltage is same as the output voltage, right? And then once the diode stops, when the current hits zero, if the diode would not have been there, the current would have reversed the direction, because the input voltage would have forced current in the opposite direction. But because there's a diode, current cannot flow in the reverse direction, and therefore current remains zero, and therefore the diode does not conduct, and the output voltage, there is no current, there is no voltage, so output voltage also remains zero. So this is the wave shape of the output voltage. Now looking at this circuit, you can find the average value of output voltage, right, by integrating the output voltage from alpha to beta. Right, you can integrate the output voltage upon 2 pi. You will get an average value of V0. You can see that the average value of V0 is now not going to be equal to 0. So that means you have a DC output. Obviously there is a ripple. It's not a flat DC. There is a ripple. There is some other frequency component also present. But nevertheless, you get a DC output, and you also have a DC output in terms of the current. Right. So this is a basic half wave rectifier circuit using one diode and an inductor and a resistance. Now the next thing is that practically, yes, you can use a RL kind of load, but one of the circuit where we generally use this kind of rectifier is in DC machines, right? Or at least we used to use it in previous times. Maybe now we may not necessarily use it, but earlier we used to use these kind of circuit for DC machines. So if you see DC machine, what is a DC machine? A DC machine armature circuit is nothing but a combination of a resistance and a back EMF, right? And also there may be a small inductance which could be because of the leakage flux, right? So essentially you have a diode rectifier from an AC, and then you also have an R, you have an L, you have an E. You have all the three components there. So now this becomes a little bit more complex. First let me draw it. You have a rectifier, and on the DC machine side you have let's say some leakage inductance, some resistance, and you also have a back EMF E. And now the question is that what is this output voltage waveform and what is the current ID in this circuit? Now we can sort of start with basic things. Again, the same assumption, at equal to 0, everything is 0. That is our initial condition. So let me draw the input voltage first. let's first start with the simpler circuit just to sort of understand things. So let me assume that there is only R and E. Let me neglect the L, which is true sometimes because the inductance value might be really small. So if I only have R and E, then what happens is at t equal to 0, my input voltage is 0. The voltage, output voltage is still E. It's not 0. So my output voltage is still E, and therefore if you see the diode is still not forward biased, because if you see VD is equal to Vin minus VO, my VO is equal to E and Vin is negligible, close to 0. So the overall diode voltage is still negative and it is not forward biased. So the diode here will not get forward biased unless the voltage input reaches equal to E. When Vin reaches equal to E, after that Vin will become more than E, then only diode will get forward biased, right? So once the diode here will get forward biased from this point. So once the diode get forward biased, till then point there's going to be no current, and after that current may start rising. And now you can see how will the current behave. I can write KVL equation, which is 0 plus Vin minus I into R minus E equal to 0. So here there is no differential equation, so current would be given by Vin minus E by R. So essentially current would follow the wave shape of Vin minus E by R. So current would also be similar to this, right? Current will become 0 at the second intersection point, right? What is these intersection point? Let me call them, let's say this is the start of the conduction, alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha is nothing where E becomes equal to Vin, right? That is the instant alpha, which is nothing but equal to, let's say Vin is Vm sine omega t, and therefore alpha is nothing but E equal to Vm sine of alpha, and alpha is equal to sine inverse E by Vm, right? This is nothing but alpha. Similarly, you can see what is beta. What is beta? Beta is the second solution of this equation, right? Beta is the second solution for this equation where E becomes equal to Vm sine of beta. So if you see the second equation for this, second solution for this equation, beta is equal to pi minus alpha, right? That is given by beta. So you have both alpha and beta, and therefore what is gamma? Gamma in this case is equal to beta minus alpha, which is equal to pi minus 2 alpha. We know the value of alpha, so we know the value of gamma, which is the duration for which the diode will conduct. So once we have found the instants alpha and beta, we have got the diode current. Now what happens after this instant? After this instant, the diode will not conduct because your input voltage is less than E, and the input will remain less than E for the whole duration, right? So it will not conduct, it will just remain 0. And therefore, if you draw the output voltage, how will the output voltage look like? The output voltage would look like, initially when the diode is not conducting, the output voltage is equal to E. Then it conducts, so it follows the input voltage, then again it clamps to E, and then it remains at E till the next cycle begins. So you can now use this waveform and you can find the average value of the output voltage. You can find the average value of the current, which could be the armature current if you're talking about DC motor, and so on, right? This is only if you have R and E. How will things change if you actually consider this inductor also? If you consider the inductor also, initially nothing changes, because till the input voltage is less than E, the diode will not conduct, right? So initially nothing changes, your output voltage remains 0. Your output voltage remains at E and the current remains 0. At this instant, yes, the diode starts conducting, right? And now the equation with which diode conduct is given by, I can write the KVL equation, which is 0 plus Vn minus IR minus E is equal to LdIL by dt, right? So which gives me that initially I is 0, so the current starts increasing because of the difference between V in and E, right? Now if I had a resistance, the peak would have happened at pi by 2. If I have pure inductor, the peak would happen at beta. So in this case, the peak happens somewhere between pi by 2 and beta, and then it starts falling. And starts falling, it falls and comes back to 0 at an instant, right? So now this instant could be before pi, or it could be after pi, depending on the values of E, magnitude of V in, and so on, right? So in this picture I've shown you before pi, it could very well be falling and fall after pi. Both cases are possible. So the alpha remains the same given by this equation. Beta in this case changes. Beta is no longer the same, right? And the duration is different, and therefore the output voltage also becomes different, because till the diode is conducting, the output voltage is equal to the input voltage. So therefore the output voltage continues to follow the input voltage, and then again it comes back to E. So you see the output voltage wave shape has changed. This is blue is the new output voltage wave shape if you consider all the three components, which is R, L and E. Right, here also you can imagine the equal area thing which we talked about earlier. If you have only L and E, right, I would like you guys to sort of draw the waveforms for only L and E kind of load, and then see which area would cancel out, and when would the current start and when would the current end, and what is going to be the duration of the current gamma. So here you see output voltage is DC, average value is DC, there is no doubt to that, but at the same time again there is some ripple. There is a oscillation. It's not a pure DC, there is an oscillation. It has some AC component also included, and the diode current is also DC.